This Negro-hating Nordic Neanderthal. This guy is a racial terrorist, a thug, an animal, a malevolent, violent terrorist spirit. Those kids who got shot, you know, whether or not they stretched their hands wouldn't have made a difference. Bullets don't respect handshakes. You need to check yourself, because it means that deep down inside you have some prejudices that you need to deal with. I can't take paracetamol for your medicine. If a black man got up and said that he was a Holocaust survivor, the Jewish community will be up in arms. I'm sorry, but she wasn't pushing for black struggle. She's not a sympathizer, she's not a black woman. She's a pale-skinned struggle appropriator and a jungle fever patient that should have been quarantined. My name doesn't matter, nor does my agenda. It's all bigger than me. This is Titans TV. This video is an open letter to white people. All white people. You know, racist, not racist, left wing, right wing, whatever. Recently, a few things have happened, right? And something ties all these things together. I'll go over them. You know, we've had you know, riots in Baltimore. We've had Rachel Dolezal. We've had a white guy in Burka or niqab in Watford. We've had deranged, apparently that's what they're saying, man go into a church and gun down 9 people in America. Now you might wonder what combines all these things, or what all these things have in common, and what it is that they've been facilitated by white privilege. Now, yeah, I know what you're doing. You're rolling your eyes because everybody knows white privilege doesn't exist. I mean, you've not been privileged your whole life. You know, you've worked hard for everything you own. I want to talk to you about that for a second, because a lot of you, you know, even the most well-meaning of white people, even you liberal, social, Guardian reading, organic muesli type eating white people, and all your little Uncle Tom friends like to pretend that this thing doesn't exist and that you don't have a platform that isn't available to most people with your lack of pigmentation. Now, again, I'm not racist, right? I've got white friends, but you know, it's something that I'm sick and tired of seeing online, where people come out and they say, oh, not all white people are racist, or not all white people are bad, or not, you know, white privilege doesn't exist, you know, it's an equal society, we're living in a post-racial society. I'm sorry, but that's a load of nonsense, and I'll show you how. If you're on social media, which most people are, you'll see that a lot of pages are inundated with, like, you know, about black people's pages are inundated with videos of police officers harassing young black kids, throwing them to the floor, and then you find out that the offenses they committed were so minuscule, like someone even committing any offenses, you know, like, oh, they were at a pool party and the neighbors didn't want them there, and it's perfectly fine for police to come and power slam them to the floor and throw them down and hog tie them, all point weapons at them, swear at them. 14-year-olds in the same country. You've got a man who is white, his Facebook is plastered with right-wing images, right-wing insignia, from the apartheid flag, I think the Confederate flag, to the different sorts of information coming, but loads of really racist posts on his Facebook. This guy just happens to go into a church that just happens to be full of black people, and he guns down 9 of them after sitting down with them, and leaves one person alive to tell the story. And in all this, you've got people still coming out and saying that it wasn't a hate crime, it wasn't about race. So a racist goes into a place and kills a bunch of black people, but it's still not about race. Now, you wonder, how does that relate to white privilege? Let me take it further. He gets arrested, and in his arrest, he's not even handcuffed. He's given a bulletproof vest. That is a slap in the face of black people in America, and I'll tell you how. They're more concerned with his safety. Yeah, he just killed 9 people, but we're worried for his safety. Let's give him a bulletproof vest, because, you know, these black people, they all have guns, they might shoot him. The problem wasn't, you know, he didn't deserve a bulletproof vest. He deserved handcuffs. He didn't have any. Now, this guy gets arrested, and after committing this heinous crime, the police are very gentle with him. They walk him out. You think he was a diplomat at a signing, you think he was like a celebrity. He wasn't handcuffed. He was even given a bulletproof vest. The police were more concerned with his safety than theirs, because handcuffing a criminal, a dangerous or violent criminal, and someone who kills 9 people is, for all means and purposes, a very dangerous and violent individual. They were more concerned with his safety than even their own, right? He had no handcuffs on. Now, if you look at the pattern where, you know, some white kid loses his mind and shoots a bunch of people in a public building, they tend to want to die in the act, so they can be immortalized and maybe have a film like the Kalam shooting. But you know, you think that as a well-trained police officer, the first thing you do is handcuff this guy because he might reach for your gun, or attempt something because obviously he wants to go on a blaze of glory. They didn't do this. Now compare that to a bunch of black kid pool party being power slammed and thrown on the floor and having weapons pointed at them. And you know, is it really that hard to see how white people are treated differently? You look at situations, for example, like in England, where we've had a white male wear a burqa and plant a bomb somewhere and get arrested. Now, he may even be Muslim, who knows? I doubt he is, because if he was, it would be all over the news. But you know, this guy went and he planted a bomb that could have killed loads of people. And I find it interesting, because if that bomb had gone off and killed a bunch of people, and this guy turns out not to be Muslim, right, and that bomb kills a lot of people, when people turn around and say, oh, it's a conspiracy, it wasn't Muslims that did it, you call us conspiracy theorists. But here we are, you know, we're very close to finding out that this person may not have even been a Muslim planting a bomb. Secondly, since we found out that this guy is white, it's not really been on mainstream media. You know, had this guy been an Asian, you know, they would have torn that burqa off of him, they would have torn that niqab off of him, they would have thrown him on the floor, maybe even shot him in the head, who knows, right? And it would have been all over the news, his face would be plastered. But right now, people are keeping quiet about it. That's white privilege. Now, a lot of you might be saying, oh, these things are just individual acts, these things are not really mainstream, these are not broad examples, it's just a few people, all the usual tropes they use. But I'm sorry, that's absolute nonsense, because at the end of the day, you know, a lot of you might look at your own and say, oh, because you do not hate anybody, you're not racist. But at the end of the day, you're enjoying a privilege that I'm not enjoying, or a lot of people with my pigmentation not enjoying. At the end of the day, if you've never had to worry about unfair harassment from the authorities, right, even when you've done nothing wrong, that is a privilege. If you've never had to worry when you write on your CV that your name sounds a bit too white for a job, that is the only person who's ever had to be a bit blacker for a job was Rachel Dolezal. And you know, it's funny how everybody's making out like what she's done doesn't matter. This woman has come in and she has lied about her ethnicity just to make money for a job. Now, if a Nigerian did that, it would be fraud. But because a white woman did it, oh, it's absolutely fine. They even coined the term now, transracial. Oh, it's fine, let her get away with it, it's fine. But what people don't seem to understand is that for every single speech she got paid to give, there was a black woman who had genuine experiences that did not get a chance to speak her mind. And I think it's absolute privilege that this is not being called fraud, this person is not being arrested, nothing's being done to them, but they've made money through lying. I think the fact that we're even giving her interviews and discussing with her like she's a responsible member of society is massive evidence of white privilege. Now, a lot of you watching this will sit down and look for ways to make it untrue or unfair, but you know, one doesn't have to go far to even look. We have headlines now, even police officers that are black are getting stopped when they're off duty, right? And the thing is this, you can say all you want about not being racist, but as a man, I will never understand sexual harassment. It's not my reality, it will never happen to me. Why? Because I'm a large man. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It doesn't mean that I can't sympathize with women who face that as part of their reality. Now, if you truly are not racist, if you truly are against racism, then share this video. If you truly do not have a problem with black people, then stop using things like all lives matter. Yeah, well, yes, all lives matter, but at the end of the day, we're being taught all lives matter because police do not just go around and shoot white kids. Police do not just go around and slam white kids on the floor that are unarmed, but they do it to black kids with regularity. So when you people come up to us and complain that we make everything about race, well, you know, we'll stop. You know, we'll stop playing the race card and stop being dealt to us. And yes, okay, fine, you have a point. Every time a black kid gets shot by a police officer, we get offended and we make it about race. Maybe we should be a bit more like you, because I mean, remember how white people reacted? You know, that time, do you remember that time that black police officer shot down that white kid who was unarmed? What, you don't? Funny, neither do I.